Being there for a year, got promoted to the cultivation department, and then so forth. Every year got another promotion until now I'm the supervisor of the whole cultivation. Um, Being at that job really helped me learn a lot about myself personally. Um, my motto literally is, if you're not growing while growing, what are you doing? There's no way that
Wait,
you
wait,
can,
wait. Say that again.
if you're
Say that
not
again.
growing while growing, what are you doing? You can't grow something that's living, something that has a life of its own, and expect to do it correctly and not learn from mistakes and not grow. And me with plants, I correlate that back to us as people, so that's where my love for, honestly, cannabis came from, was really when I started to really learn to love myself. And it's because the plant itself is what really taught me a lot just about life and just growing through obstacles, no matter what people throw at you that you sometimes have no control over. You can still grow out of that if you just learn to cultivate those areas that you need to, in order to become the best version of yourself. And so
Mm-hmm.
growing marijuana, the part I work in, I work with just the plants. So I work with moms, veg, and clones. I don't work with the actual flower. Like, I'm over the flower, but I don't personally work with the flower. That's not where I started. And so
So
just
explain it
learning.
real quick. Can you break what does that mean for those who hear it but
mm,
they don't really understand it? Break that
so
down of what that means.
so moms, mothers, that's the mother plant. So the mothers is every part of the process is important, but it's a, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but it's a, you have to know, you just have to know. So mothers, that's where you take your cuttings from. So the mother plants, like you're growing a I don't know a kind of tree, but you're growing some type of tree. You want to take cuttings off of that, and you want to repopulate the plant that you're cutting from. So
Okay.
that's what the mother plant is. The mother, you have to make sure the mother is always healthy, because if you have a stressed, sick mom and you go to take cuttings off of it, you're going to recreate. You're going to keep recreating that gene, that stress gene that's inside of that plant. Um, so that's what a mom plant is. It's like pretty much the start of the entire process. Honestly, that's the start of the process to get healthy bud. Um, and then you get clones. So clones come off the mother plant. Clones, those are, they have no roots, so you have to go and you have to give them roots. But the clones are the plants that go to the veg and then that go to the actual flower cycle. Veg is like the teenage years. So veg is, that's where you train that plant, you water that plant correctly so it can have nice strong roots, and then it goes over to the flower department. Um, so yeah, that's the process. I don't know if I really broke that down. My mind
Yeah.
got a little bit jumbled, but
I'll let
that's
you
the process.
and I hear you, and you know how I've been also looking at it. Another way to explain is that also, but it's funny the terminology that we use when we're growing plants.
Yeah, see, that's, and yeah, I was about to
And
go
you
there. I was about to
say
go there.
like a mother, a stressed mother, or a healthy mom can produce a healthy clone or a stressed clone, and that gene can, so when you look at it like that and you have that and
Hmm.
take that plant or now that clone and you're now trying to grow it to a healthy teenager.
Yep. After it's been dumped with so
Yeah.
much stress,
So
so
much
much
stuff.
heartache.
Now you're trying to take that clone and you're trying to grow that and give it like the healthiest roots, like the
Yep.
best roots.
Yep.
You're hoping that, which you don't know, you're hoping that it's going to stay a female.
Hmm.
Hoping that it's not, it doesn't get bigger and you realize, oh man,
Damn.
it's male. Damn, I gotta cut. That means I gotta kill everything in here.
Yep.
You're hoping that it's not that. And we can get into why you don't want to have the males in there later on.
Hmm.
But breaking it down like that, it's it's easier to understand. And then once you're
Agree.
older, that's your plants or your, going into flower stage, or now that's adulthood.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, the bud also changes with the way it's taken care of.
Sure done. Yes, sir.
So the human you change and you get better the
Yes.
way your mind is taken care of,
Bruh, and I'm
the way
that.
you're taken care of. So
Yep.
the healthier as a teenager or as a kid you are, if you keep getting that good nutrients, that good love, that good support, that good health, as you go into that veg state and then you get ready to move into the flower state, you'll be good. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go ahead. So being in this position at this job,
Mm-hmm.
what are the, before coming into it, just hearing about it? Like, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people have heard about the cannabis industry. There are people that, might see this podcast that are not fully recreational like we are, or haven't been recreational as long as we have been.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't been able to see certain things yet.
Mm-hmm.
What are things that you have seen that you can say, man, that should never be here? Or things that you're like, yo, we need to promote more of this to other people. We need to make sure they understand this, just on the growing side.
The growing side.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, with me, the way I teach and the way I try to share the knowledge, I feel like that should be brought more into it, because I don't know the scientific language to a lot of the shit I do at
Okay.
all. I don't know a lot of the terms, but I have found a way to where I can explain it to other people like me who don't know the terms, in a way to where they can have a better understanding of how to care for the plant. Because if you have a why and if you have a deep rooted understanding, I feel like just that care and that passion will really just start to grow more and more, because
It just
that
starts
care.
coming. It comes natural.
Yes.
It starts to feel like
Yes.
it's coming natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, like, the way I teach, like, I would like for other people's minds to be like that, instead of just being so scientific when it comes to marijuana. And I get it, like you add a little bit of that, add a little bit of this, and you can get this. But
Right.
honestly, with just understanding of the plant, you can get the same effect without trying to force the plant to be and grow the way that you want it to grow. And what you were saying earlier, the mother, the teenage, that stress you put in that plant, and now they get a teenage, and you trying to, it's like, and that's why it helped me grow so much as a human, because that's the same shit. You have stressed out parents, you have parents who aren't ready to be parents, and their parents, and they have all this trauma and all this way of knowing and learning and acting, and they're teaching that to their youngin, or they're just being who they are. And a kid learns they learn visually before anything. And so they're doing recreating and just taking on things to, as like it's them, but it's not them. It's the environment that's around them. And then you get older and you wonder why it's hard for you to keep a job. You wonder why commitment is an issue for you. You wonder why you can't communicate correctly. You wonder why you're so shy and timid. Those things aren't you. Those qualities are not of a child. A baby who was a happy baby, who came from a loving home, you're gonna see that joy in that baby. That baby's gonna dance. It's gonna be who they are, and they don't care what's around, and that doesn't dim their light. The parent is the person that starts to dim the light before anybody else in this world dims their light. And so that right there is like, and so you're growing and you're trying to unlike our generation right now, we're unhealing and unlearning things that was taught to us that we didn't want, but it was just put on us and it became a part of who we are right now. You know, and so like that's how I teach my team. Like, you don't want to stress this mom out. You stress this mom out, even though she's gonna quote unquote grow out of it outwardly, just from looking surface wise, you
And
see
roots
green,
don't.
you see all of that. But in those roots aren't developed to take on the weight of producing healthy clones to get great growing buds and plants. It all
Which is
starts from
how,
the
and you said something earlier, sorry to cut you off, but it just goes back to what you were saying. And it's you become an adult and all of these different things are wrong. Well, with the bud, it gets bigger and now the terpenes aren't right.
mm-hmm.
The THC's not right.
Yep. Just because
It
you
might have
look
been some
good,
CBD that was supposed to be in there and ain't in there
it
now.
ain't in there now. You got a sativa, that's an indica.
Yeah, like
That's not normal. That's from stress. And so yes, you have good bud that has okay THC and it has cool terpene profile,
it's
but
not
can
as
you
big
imagine
as
what
it's
that
supposed to
could be?
be. Yeah,
Can you imagine what it could be if you actually took your time and actually let the plant tell you what it needs instead of you trying to force it?
yeah.
And like that, and that's really how I teach my team, like, to not become robotic to growing weed. We are growing healthy plants. We're not growing marijuana, we're growing healthy plants, and then that will produce the marijuana. And like, yeah, a lot of people, they don't understand that. Like I like the plant for that reason. Like, and I honestly, I fell in love with the plant of marijuana versus the actual
Smoking of it.
smoking of the marijuana. I love to smoke. Oh, I smoke. I was just smoking before we got on the call.
So was
I
I.
love to smoke, but the plant is my passion, not the actual end product. It's
Yeah.
the beginning of the process, because if you if you cultivate something from the very beginning correctly, patiently, understandingly, I don't know if that's a word, but you're going to have a beautiful outcome. Your business is going to thrive, it's going to survive. The person you are becoming, the next adventure you choose to take, all of that is going to fall into place because of how you cultivated it from the beginning. Now if you scheme and do all this ruthless stuff and try to force something on somebody, like all that stuff, eventually that karma gonna come back around. It's gonna come back around on you 10 times fold. And that's the same with a plant. You might get two good runs and in that third, fourth, fifth run, you run there and why? What the hell happened to my mom? Like, why are these veg clones looking like this? Why aren't my clones rooting? It's because you tried to rush the process, and it's gonna catch up to you. A plant will always let you know what's wrong with it. You just gotta learn to speak their language and understand.
Oh,
So
I
yeah.
definitely know. That's my
I know you do. I know you
that's
do, bro. Yeah, I know you
that's
do.
the love. Like it
Yep.
feels it's different, which is why I grow at home.
Yep.
But and it didn't start with weed with me, it started with a garden.
Mm-hmm.
So me starting a garden and I started with the kids, that it built time for us. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got to learn, but then I got to teach at the same time.
Teaching is the best
And
part.
man, being able to see your kids grow,
Mm-hmm.
it was like it was amazing. But then being able to see your plants grow, this is what you're doing. Man, the feeling was crazy. And then I realized, once I went through the legal process that's getting my medical card, my medical cannabis card here, and that's due to having surgery. So I didn't want to buy weed anymore, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to start growing it. I was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not buying this no more. So I'm gonna figure out how to grow it. Well, once I started growing it, it took me to a whole different playing field. Like mind, body, soul, everything. It just being inside of the tent with the plants out, like, and I was growing outdoors.
Yep.
It was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I need to figure out how to, like, I gotta figure out how to turn this into money.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta figure out And I realized everybody else around me, I knew what they were going to say, which was like, yo, you sure about that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the stigma behind it, blase, blase, blase. And I got it. But once my mind is set on something, it's over with.
It's say, yep.
And I was set to the point where I went back to school for cannabis business. So with you, knowing the journey that you've taken and knowing the journey that I've taken, for anybody else who hasn't taken either one of our journeys, what would you say the biggest challenges would be for somebody to just like, yo, I've been a nurse forever for the past 20 years. I don't want to do this no more. What do you think her biggest challenge will be coming into the industry?
As a grower,
As a grower. If that's what she got put in to do, what do you think her biggest challenge will be as a grower?
uh, from what I see from all the new people I have coming in with no experience and stuff, it's the patience to learn and the patience to understand. That right there is a big challenge. Patience for one, you need to have patience in order to grow. You have to have patience.
Who? Because
People come in,
you cannot rush it. You can't rush it.
you can't, and people come in and they wanna learn how to water. They want to learn how to clone. They want to learn how to do plant work, how to top. They want to learn how to do all that stuff right off the bat. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem comes from when you're doing all these things and you make a mistake.
And you don't know what the basis was to begin with.
Exactly. And you don't hold yourself accountable to that mistake. Accountability is a big thing also. If you have no accountability, you're never going to be able to backtrack to know what went wrong. But patience to learning. And so with that, you make a mistake, a lot of the times the confidence I see that they were building, it
Mm-hmm.
starts to go down because you feel like you should be knowing this, or you feel like it's this easy because you see 1 2 3 doing it like it's a piece of cake, and so that confidence level starts to dwindle because that patience is not there to have a full understanding of what it is that you're really actually doing. Because yeah, people come in the marijuana business and they thinking it's a cool time, you getting high, you shit. Like, it's still a business, it's still a whole corporation business that you have to follow. And it's okay to make mistakes, but I just actually had a conversation with one of my employees today about that, because he did plant work in his room and he's been doing a good job, but he could have thinned the mom out just a little bit more to get better airflow, to get better light penetration to the lower node, so that you can get better growth and get a more uniform cut for the clones.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing plant work all day today, and I brought him into the room that I was doing, and showed him that he,
Can you explain what plant work is?
so plant work is just taming the mom, basically, because a plant's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. It's gonna keep growing. It's gonna grow bushy. It's just gonna do what it's gonna do. But us as people, and because yes, we want a nice looking plant, you're gonna start trimming up that plant. So you're gonna take off these big leaves that are blocking light from the lower shoot, the lower node. The node is what grows, and it keeps growing like shit. Like this right here. Like, if this was an actual tree, like a marijuana plant, like this will be a node, and then you grow another branch off that node. So the nodes basically turn into branches, and so you're gonna cut nodes, you're gonna cut some nodes, you're gonna cut some branches off, and it's basically just to thin out the trees so you have great airflow and nice light penetration. Because if not, you're gonna have a bushy bush. So you have bushes outside, and you see, if you were to look inside that bush, there's a lot of things that's not getting any light. They're not getting any airflow. It's just covered in complete darkness. And so with plants, you definitely want to make sure, with the marijuana plants, you want to make sure you thin that out so you can have even growth inside the entire plant. So that's what plant work basically is. But yeah,
Got
I just had a conversation with him and just like letting him know he could have done more. And I spoke the just because, you're on it, and if you make a mistake, and this isn't even a mistake, but if if I come and say, oh, you could have done this like this, or next time we're going to do it like this, don't let that kill your confidence. Me as the supervisor, I still make mistakes. Like, if it wasn't for James, my two leads and stuff, like, I would be lost without it,
Shout
so it's
out to
like,
James.
shout out to James. But there's no such thing as a master grower, no such thing at all. So it's like, making mistakes is okay. So, but it's like, just keeping that confidence level, because if you don't have the confidence in what you're doing, you're not going to trust yourself. You're going to keep making mistakes, and that passion won't ever grow, because it's covered by all this fear and timidness.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, confidence is patience and confidence. That's the thing that I would really talk to people about, to have a understanding that it's okay if you don't get it. It took me damn near a year to know how to water correctly, but that's because you have to understand the environment also. A plant is going to drink based off its environment.
That
And
it's in.
exactly, like I tell my team, you're doing the same thing every day, but you're not doing the same thing every day, because these are plants. You can't treat them robotically and put them on a schedule and think that they're going to follow. Like, you have to pay attention to
Some
really
of
what
them
you're doing.
grow, and just working, doing it outside in Vegas in the middle of the summer, growing indoor in different locations and different ways, seeing how different ways people grow, because everybody grows different.
Yep.
Nobody grows the same.
Nope.
Everybody grows different. Everybody has their own way of growing. Everybody has their own nutrients that they choose. Everybody has their own watering way. Everybody grows different. Everybody does.
Yep.
And watching that, um, and seeing, like, yo, I call it playing God inside.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of cultivations, like, you have to play God. And I say
Yep.
that because you have to have light in there to match the sun.
Yep.
You have to have enough fans in there to match the outside wind.
Yep.
You have to have enough AC to match the cool breeze that might come here and there. Like, you
Yep.
have to have these things inside of a cultivation in order for the plants to even start off.
Agreed. Yep.
That's nothing else. You have to have those are basic things that if you don't have those things, that you have to have temperature. It has to be like, if you don't have these things, it doesn't work. So while you're
Yep.
playing God, you're spending so much for the environment indoor to be outside.
Yep.
Because me growing outside, and I grew, it was, man, I think it was 2020 or 2021. And I know you'll remember, it was like 120, 119, 118.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was nuts out here. Y'all, was growing outdoor
Mm-hmm.
during this time period. But I had a makeshift, I mean, I guess you could call it it was a real greenhouse that I built in the back. And, when my book comes out, coming soon,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be
Okay.
able to see that in the book, but which is Cultivating in the Desert. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I've just been able to see the environment really affects everything. And if you don't understand that basic knowledge, then it's going to be hard for you to grow anything anywhere.
Yep. You gotta understand the basic things the plant needs in order to really succeed. And I say the same thing all the time. Like, as us as people, we always trying to play God. We always trying to do some shit to play God, bro. And like, taking something that's outdoors, bringing it indoors, and trying to mimic, like
Outside,
it
because that's
the
what they're doing.
outside.
They have to mimic, and you have to spend, you have to spend so much money to
So much,
mimic outside. It's
bruh,
unreal.
so
And
much
we've
money.
been,
It's
It's
I have
nuts.
2 plants here right now, bro, and I had them in my tent. I took them out the tent. I got nice lighting coming through my window. I said, y'all niggas gonna sit right here on this goddamn
Yo,
windowsill and have this natural light and the natural darkness. Like I'm not, I'm not doing all the extra, you know.
it's
Like
so much. And I'm
it's
like,
so
yo,
much.
you can you can grow, and there are plenty of people who grow great outdoor weed. You know, there are
Mhm.
plenty of different locations that grow outdoor weed. But before we end and get out, um,
Mhm.
a couple of like rapid fire questions that I got for you.
Okay, let's see if I can rapid fire answer.
All right. In 5 years, where do you want to be in the industry, or do you not want to be in the industry in 5 years?
Oh, honestly, I want to get the promotion to a cultivation manager, just so I can say I did that. I accomplished that. And then I feel like I'm cool off the industry. And it's only so because the corporation life, like, it's just not for me. It really does take the quality out of what you're doing. And being the supervisor, I do a lot of shit that I don't want to do, but you have to because business must go on. So it's like I honestly see myself like I want to do my own thing, but like I don't want no big cultivation because I don't want the headache of it. But like I could see myself like just like owning a nursery. It could be marijuana based, it could just be plant based. But I do know in 5 years I still see myself working with plants. I don't know in what aspect, but I still see myself working with plants for sure. For sure. But who knows? I get the cultivation management and maybe the spark of the industry will come back in me. But with more money comes more problems, more stress, and all that good stuff. But I like the challenge because, like I said, I like how it's helping me grow as a person, like especially being a supervisor, learning how to talk, learning how to communicate with people, learning how to learn people in order to teach them because my job is very important. I have to teach everybody on my team how to do the things that they need to do in order to care for these plants while also trying to help them grow as people, trying to help their minds really get deeper into what they're doing so it can start the reflection process, because everything you do should help you grow as a person. So
Mhm.
it's like I take so like yeah, who knows? It might the passion for the industry might come back, but I don't see my especially in Nevada. No, I don't really see
So
myself.
that was my next question: is if you got a job opportunity outside of here, would you take it? If you got a job, and better question, if you got a job in a state where they are just now about to become recreational.
Yep, yep, off tops. Yep, off tops. For one, the money. Huh. Oh, the resume I have, and then add management on there. The money will be crazy. The most money I ever made. It's the most money I ever made now. But like that would be fucking wild. So for one, yes, I would. For two, I don't see myself living in Vegas forever. So going somewhere where there's nice pay and
A
another thing
different
just to
change of
put on my
scenery.
resume,
Yeah.
yeah, different scenery, all that stuff, a different way. Let me see how y'all do things out here because it's gonna be different because your environment's different. You're not gonna grow. It's like people, like you get acclimated to the climate you in. So like if you have a strain created based off of tropical weather and you take it somewhere like Nevada to the fucking desert, like you're gonna have to really cater to that plant to do things so that it can get acclimated to this type of environment, and you can acclimate it. You just gotta clone it a few times, to
Mhm.
to get it used to where it's at. But yeah, like I would definitely go somewhere if I got offered. And I say it all the time to my team, like, bro, whether you're passionate about what you're doing or not, you can stack your resume, go somewhere that's not even rec. They become rec, and they're gonna want you because you have inside industry knowledge, and you're working for one of the biggest companies. like marijuana companies out. Like they have places in 23 states and I believe 7 countries. So it's like that name is going to ring when people come across your resume.
And your
So
name
it's
will.
like
Your name
it's
will.
like
Listen, you put your
yeah.
name out there, especially back out in the Midwest or out east, yo. And I know Cureleaf has spots out there that you could probably transfer to, but having that title, on your resume and having the real, it's more than just having the title. And I say
Mm-hmm.
that because I've met people who have titles, and this is no slight to them, because you got it how you got it. But yo, just because you have the title doesn't mean that you're qualified to do the job.
All right.
And I've
Agree.
met
Like
people who have titles, but they're not. And I'm like,
they're not
how
qualified
are
for. I
you
met
like?
people who've been to school for this shit, and it's just like,
I'm like, bro, what
and
are
like
you
it's
doing?
just
Why are you doing it like this? You should probably not
it's the
do that.
way they do it, and it's
Yeah,
like you said, like there's multiple ways of growing, and it's like it's not me saying that they're doing it wrong, but it's
yeah,
like
do how you
there's no
do, but
passion in the it's there, there's no passion in it. Even if you have great quality weed coming out of what you're doing, there's no passion in it. And that's where my dislike starts to come in for the industry. Like the passion is gone. Like anything I do, I have to be passionate about it. Money does not make me passionate. It might keep me cool for about, a year or so. But like I said, I get bored very easily. When my mental isn't getting stimulated, I get very bored. I don't care how much money I have coming in. So like yeah, I would I would dip out in a heartbeat for one. Something new. It will excite me. It'll make me feel like, oh, I gotta learn more. Like it'll liven me up again. Like I'm still live. Like
yeah,
I definitely wouldn't be going to work if I wasn't passionate about it anymore. But yeah, the corporate life is just it's wild as shit. It's very wild. It's not
yes, it is.
it's very wild, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to, I'll probably have some corporate guests on so they can, give their insight on how the industry is from their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But before we head out, one last question. Who would you like to see on the podcast next?
I think James, Mr. James Hamilton will be really cool because James' passion has grown a lot. Um, and like James is the person that he he helped me believe in myself a lot quicker than I probably would have if it was just me. Like James, he came on the team. And like he lets me know to this day that I'm the one who planted the seed in his head and the passion grew. And so like that gave me confidence that, you are a good teacher. You do know how to articulate your words and all this good, fancy
You
stuff
do.
that you were very insecure about, like, and so I think James would be really cool because he'll give you his perspective on the industry. And he's also somebody who sees himself doing this for himself. And so like giving that business aspect of what, the business side that he's been, looking into and seeing and stuff like that. Like I think you and him have that in common a lot. And I think the conversation you guys could have would be pretty fucking dope. Like I said, I wanna help people start their shit. I wanna what a consultant. I wanna
Yeah,
fly
you're a
around to other
consultant.
people's shit. Okay, James, you want to start a place? Boom. Okay, let me, the things I know. Or Jordan, you want to? Boom. Okay, that's what I want to do. I don't want to necessarily jump into the business side of it. I just want to just
Consult,
teach and
help, teach, and grow.
help and teach. Like
Yeah.
teaching is like I realized that's something that I actually really love to do. Like my pops was a speaker and like, the way he would word his words in order for people to really grasp and like just tailoring it to your audience,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I said like my position really helped me learn to talk to people and just sit back and analyze them and know the right questions to ask in order for me to better give them what they need.
Right.
Like I love helping people and like just teaching and stuff. But like James, not to get off subject, but James would be a great guest to have for sure. The conversation would be pretty dope.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on Euphoria Talks. Thank you for having an open, candid conversation.
Yes,
about
sir.
cannabis, and it was mental health in that also. So
Yes.
thank you again, and I look forward to hopefully trying to get James on here and having a great conversation with him.
Hell yeah, man.
Thank you again for joining our podcast, Euphoria Talks, and we will see you next time. Peace out.
Peace.